Efthymia, Laura, welcome to our first podcast, which will cover frequently asked questions and important information on relocation of international businesses, their employees and families to Cyprus. We will focus on highly skilled non-EU employees working in companies of foreign interests, that is, companies owned by a majority of non-EU shareholders. Before we start, tell us a few words about you.
Hi Ralitsa. So as an introduction, myself and my colleague Laura were part of the immigration team of PwC Cyprus. We provide services to our clients who wish to set up companies in Cyprus and relocate their staff and their family members to the Republic. So we focus on immigration and wider relocation.
We have seen a large inflow of international businesses moving operations and staff to Cyprus over the last year. How is this translated into numbers, Laura?
Hi from myself as well, Ralitsa. Indeed, this is the case. The permits issued up until now were 9,000 per year, and in 2022, this reached more than 25,000. So we have seen a lot of companies setting up or enhancing their presence in Cyprus from all over the world, with a huge increase in tech companies.
Indeed, there's quite a huge increase in the numbers you mentioned. And Efthymia, I've heard that in 2022, you've managed to relocate hundreds of employees and their family members to Cyprus hassle-free. How did you make this happen?
Yes, we did that. So our services included support with obtaining visas from the embassies abroad for the employees and their family members, live support before and after the relocation. We also assisted our clients in finding temporary accommodation, schooling options, and registration with the schools, ran the medical examinations. But most importantly, we submitted the large number of applications so that the employees can take up employment immediately. And also, we assisted them with the registration with the local authorities, such as social insurance and tax.
Wow, that's a complete array of tailor-made services.
Correct.
And Laura, why do you think companies choose Cyprus to relocate their staff and their operations?
So some of the key reasons include, but are not limited to, the following. We have a very straightforward process to set up and to operate a business in Cyprus. A Cyprus company can be registered and incorporated with the authorities within 1 to 2 weeks. And apart from that, we also have a very business-friendly migration regime, which caters for the swift and efficient relocation of staff.
Additionally to what Laura mentioned, Cyprus has an attractive personal and corporate tax regime, and also the high quality of lifestyle, healthcare, and of course the extensive use of the English language.
Indeed, and the good weather in Cyprus.
That's right, very important as well.
In the beginning, we mentioned highly skilled employees. What is meant by highly skilled employee?
So in order for an employee to be considered as highly skilled, he or she should be earning a minimum gross monthly salary of 2,500 and have relevant academics or experience. That said, however, if a company wants to employ staff with a lower salary, they can do so, provided they get an additional approval from the authorities.
And Efthymia, how can a non-EU individual enter Cyprus to take up employment?
So one can enter Cyprus by obtaining a visa from the Cyprus embassy, if indeed a visa is required based on the nationality of the applicant. Also, they can enter with a valid Schengen visa or with an entry permit which is issued from the migration authorities.
And an individual needs to be in Cyprus for the submission of the permit application?
Yes, correct. Everyone needs to be in Cyprus in order to provide their biometric features. There is, however, the option to submit the application first and the biometrics to follow.
And for how long, how can an individual start employment following the submission of the application?
If one will enter with an entry permit, then they can take up employment immediately. Otherwise, as soon as the application is successfully submitted and the relevant receipt is issued from the migration authorities, they can then legally take up employment in Cyprus.
And following the submission of the application, can someone leave Cyprus before the permit is issued?
Yes, they can, but they can only travel to their home country with the relevant application receipt. So at this point, it's important to note that if the applicant travels outside of Cyprus for a period of 90 days continuously, then the permit becomes void.
That's a good point to note, Laura. Thank you. And Efthymia, for someone to submit their application for permit, for how long should their passport be valid?
So if the permit that one will be applied for will be for a 1 year validity, the passport needs to have a minimum validity of 1.5 years.
And for how long can a work permit be issued, Laura?
The permit can be issued for a period of up to 3 years, and it is renewable, provided that the documents with the relevant duration are submitted to the authorities.
And is there a maximum number of non-EU employees that a company of foreign interest can employ?
Yes, Ralitsa, indeed there is a maximum number, since under the relevant legislation there is a quota of maximum 70% of the company staff being non-EU, and this number will be assessed in 5 years from the day that the company will become eligible for employing the said non-EU.
So we've covered the permits application for the employees. What about their family members? How easy is it for a family member to obtain a permit?
Well, Ralitsa, our migration regime caters for both spouses and non-married couples, their parents, as well as children up to the age of 25.
And in terms of school registrations, what is required for underage children to obtain a permit?
Both for the issuance but also for the renewal of the permits, children over the age of 4 years and 8 months is a must to have a school enrollment at a licensed school by the Ministry of Education, Sport and Youth.
I've also heard that spouses of highly skilled employees have free access to the labor market. What does this mean in practice?
So thank you for raising up this question, as there is some confusion on this. Spouses who apply under the family reunification status are only issued a permit for residence purposes. So only when the spouse finds a suitable employer, we can convert their permit from visitor to employment.
Thanks for clarifying this, Laura. And before we close for today, can you tell me a few words how can PwC support their clients following the relocation of their operations and staff to Cyprus?
Yes, of course. In PwC, we provide a wide range of services since we are a team of more than 1,000 solvers. And our services include, and actually they start from advising on the right structures for the companies, the setup of the companies, but also services related to banking, accounting, payroll, corporate and personal tax compliance. And also core HR functions such as talent acquisition, well-being, inclusion and diversity, and HR metrics.
So in addition to this, we also have a large team of lawyers who are part of the biggest global network and who can provide support in a wide spectrum of matters of corporate law. So I would say in general that we are very passionate in what we do. We have supported clients to set up and operate in Cyprus for decades. And in short, we make things happen.
Indeed, we make things happen. Thank you very much for the insightful conversation, girls. It was great having you here, and I look forward to our meeting next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.